You offered food. Your axolotl turned away, and now you are watching an uneaten pellet sink slowly to the substrate while your axolotl sits there, completely indifferent, doing absolutely nothing to acknowledge that feeding time just happened. Most owners read this as a problem. Something is wrong. The axolotl is sick, or the food is wrong, or the water is off. And sometimes those things are true. But food refusal in an axolotl is not just a symptom. It is a language, one of the loudest, most deliberate signals in the entire vocabulary of axolotl behavior. And what it is saying depends entirely on the details that most owners are not trained to read. There are 5 things your axolotl's food refusal could be telling you. 4 of them you have probably considered. But the 5th one, which we will get to at the end, is the one that will change how you think about your axolotl's relationship with food entirely. Let us decode what is actually being communicated. 1. The water is wrong. Before anything else, before you question the food, before you question the feeding schedule, before you consider any behavioral explanation, your axolotl's food refusal is first and foremost a water quality signal. This is not intuitive. We think of appetite as being about hunger, but in axolotls, appetite is profoundly connected to environmental chemistry. Elevated ammonia suppresses feeding behavior directly. The body interprets a toxic environment as a moment for conservation, not consumption. The axolotl is not being picky. It is reducing metabolic demand in a compromised environment. Test your water before you do anything else. Ammonia and nitrite must read 0. If either is elevated, this is your message, and the refusal will not resolve until the water does. Your axolotl is not refusing food. It is refusing to eat in a house that is on fire. 2. The temperature is too high. Axolotls are cold water animals. Their entire metabolic system, including their appetite regulation, is calibrated for water between 60 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit. As water temperature rises above this range, the axolotl's metabolism struggles. Digestion becomes more difficult. The body begins to prioritize cooling and survival over feeding. A food refusal that coincides with warmer weather, a room that is heated up, or any change in the tank's environment should immediately make you reach for a thermometer. Even a rise of 2 or 3 degrees above the ideal range can suppress appetite completely. This is your axolotl communicating something precise. The conditions for safe feeding are not currently met, not because it is unwell, because it is making the correct biological decision for the temperature it is living in. Cool the water and watch the appetite return. The refusal was never random. 3. It is about to shed. This is the message that most owners miss completely, because axolotl shedding is subtle, slow, and easy to confuse with illness. Axolotls shed their outer skin layer periodically. Unlike reptiles, they do not peel dramatically. The shed is gradual, often invisible to the casual observer. A slight cloudiness to the water, a thin film or thread you notice in the tank, or simply a period of unusual stillness and reduced appetite that has no obvious environmental cause. In the days leading up to and during a shed, many axolotls reduce or completely stop eating. The body is using its resources for the shedding process. The digestive system slows. It is not a health crisis. It is a biological cycle doing exactly what it should. If your water parameters are perfect, temperature is correct, the axolotl is otherwise behaving normally, but food is being ignored for 3 to 5 days. Look closely at the water. Look at your axolotl's skin texture. The refusal is not a warning. It is a notification. For something is wrong internally. When food refusal persists beyond 5 to 7 days with no environmental explanation and is accompanied by other signals, unusual floating, changes in gill color, reduced movement, a swollen or asymmetrical abdomen, your axolotl is communicating something that requires more than observation. Internal infection, parasitic load, or organ dysfunction can all suppress appetite as the body diverts resources toward fighting what it cannot tell you about any other way. The food refusal in these cases is not a message about the environment. It is a message about what is happening inside the body itself. The critical distinction from the previous cause is this refusal does not come alone. The axolotl that is systemically unwell will show multiple signals simultaneously. The gills will not be fully open. The response to your presence will be reduced. The animal will seem absent in a way that is different from rest or shedding. Trust that distinction. It matters. This is the message that requires a vet with amphibian experience. And sooner is always better than later. 5, it knows something has changed, and it is waiting. This is the one I told you about, and it is the one that has nothing to do with illness or environment. Axolotls are creatures of deep routine. We established in an earlier video that they map your schedule, your footstep patterns, your lighting shifts, the rhythm of your evenings. They build a predictive model of how the world operates, and food is one of the most deeply embedded parts of that model. When something changes, not in the water, not in the temperature, but in the routine, an axolotl can refuse food as a direct expression of that disruption. A new feeding time, a different person offering food, a change in the room, the lighting, the sequence of events around feeding. Something in the pattern has shifted, and the axolotl is communicating its awareness of that shift by refusing to proceed as normal. This is not stubbornness. It is not manipulation. It is the most sophisticated form of communication on this list, because it reveals something most owners never fully appreciate. Your axolotl has been paying enough attention to know when something is different. It has built a model of normal that is detailed enough to detect variation, and it is expressing that detection to the only currency it has, the decision to eat or not to eat. Restore the routine. Feed at the same time, in the same way, with the same presence, and watch the axolotl that seemed broken suddenly remember that food exists, because it was never confused about whether food existed. It was waiting for the world to make sense again. 5 messages: the water quality signal, the temperature signal, the shedding notification, the internal distress signal, and the routine disruption, the one that reveals just how closely your axolotl has been watching you. That uneaten pellet on the substrate is not a failure. It is a sentence, one you now know how to read. Your axolotl has never simply refused food. It has always been telling you something, every single time. You were just missing the translation. Now you have it.